Chapter kicks off with Gojo confronting the King of Curses. Sukuna relentlessly launches slashes at Gojo, who stands his ground. The barrage of attacks proves formidable, with Sukuna's blades inflicting considerable damage on Gojo, to the extent that even his neck sustains a slash. Back at the sorcerer's location, Yuji expresses deep concern for his sensei, reacting emotionally to Sukuna's overwhelming power. The shock of Sukuna's strength causes Yuji to stand involuntarily. In response, Gojo takes charge of the situation by employing the reverse cursed technique. However, despite Gojo's efforts, the onslaught of slashes persists, as they are occurring within Sukuna's domain. Choso expresses his observation that since Sukuna's domain isn't closed, escaping should be relatively easy. Hikari adds to the discussion, suggesting that given the radius of Malevolent Shrine in Shibuya, Gojo, with his speed, should encounter no difficulty evading the slashes. Kokishibo contributes to the conversation, noting that Gojo's movements from infinity involve compressing space and coordinates. He further mentions that Gojo is unable to use the reverse cursed technique, since his domain was destroyed. Miwa catches wind of the situation, realizing that Gojo is in a dire predicament. Sukuna, standing at the top of the shrine, looks down upon Gojo with an evil smirk on his face. The sight of Gojo being slashed multiple times is exhilarating for Sukuna. With a sense of superiority, Sukuna exclaims that his domain's performance far surpasses that of Gojo. The intensity of the battle reaches a new peak, as Sukuna revels in the apparent advantage he holds over the formidable sorcerer. Sukuna jumps off from the shrine and attempts to strike Gojo. Gojo skillfully evades the punch, and they find themselves in a fierce hand-to-hand combat, with a continuous rain of slashes slicing through Gojo's body. Sukuna throws a powerful kick at Gojo, but Gojo swiftly blocks the kick with his forearms. Reacting with speed and precision, Gojo then throws Sukuna to the ground, using his own body as a trajectory for this strategic maneuver. In the next moment, Gojo delivers a heavy punch aimed at Sukuna's face. However, Sukuna tilts his head just enough to evade the punch. The force of Gojo's punch lands on the ground, creating a deep hole. Sukuna quickly gets up and faces Gojo. Both of them assume closed fighting stances, locking their attention on each other. Every moment, even a millisecond, holds the potential to decide the outcome of this intense battle between the two formidable sorcerers. The tension escalates as they remain in a deadlock. Sukuna appears impressed by Gojo. Despite the heavy slashes that have inflicted severe injuries on Gojo's body, and Gojo resorting to using the reverse cursed technique to survive, Sukuna acknowledges that Gojo's movements are still remarkable. Sukuna maintains his evil smirk, while Gojo's entire face is covered in blood. With determination, Gojo relies on his 6 eyes to assess the situation and find a way out. The center of Sukuna's malevolent shrine is, in fact, the shrine itself, rather than Sukuna. In the live broadcast, Itadori raises a question about what would happen if the shrine gets destroyed. Tsukabe provides an explanation, stating that normally, things animated from a person's inner domain hold a special significance and are, in essence, non-existent. Meme continues the explanation, noting that if the shrine is merely a symbol of the domain, then attempting to destroy it would be futile. Even if Gojo were to try, it wouldn't have any meaningful impact. Meme speculates that since Gojo, who possesses the 6 eyes, isn't attempting to destroy the shrine, that decision likely holds the answer. The situation appears rather pessimistic for Gojo. He finds himself in a terrible predicament. Returning to the ongoing fight, Gojo fixes his stance and unexpectedly employs a simple domain. His actions perplex the sorcerers who are watching. After all, nobody can discern what thoughts are going through Gojo's mind in this critical moment of the intense battle. The air of uncertainty deepens as Gojo takes an unexpected turn. Itadori expresses confusion once again, exclaiming that Gojo had previously stated he couldn't use it. The other sorcerers clarify by explaining that it's not that Gojo can't use it. Rather, he's a genius who could do it from the beginning. The reason he refrains from teaching it to others is attributed to his innate proficiency and perhaps the complexity of the technique. Meanwhile, Gojo appears to be countering the dire situation. He employs the simple domain to cancel the must-hit effect, simultaneously using the reverse cursed technique to heal his injured body. Skillfully manipulating both the usual cursed technique and the reverse cursed technique, Gojo demonstrates his formidable mastery over these complex sorcery skills. In the midst of the intense battle, Gojo showcases his unparalleled proficiency. However, there's a catch. The low output from the simple domain will only afford Gojo a limited amount of time against Sukuna's real-time attacks. The fierce hand-to-hand combat between Gojo and Sukuna persists. Gojo manages to get behind Sukuna and delivers a powerful blow with his elbow, but Sukuna's relentless slashes continue to injure Gojo. As Choso predicted, the simple domain can only provide a brief respite against a domain user. Gojo resorts to using the simple domain again, prompting Sukuna to remark on his actions as tedious. Tsukabe, Hikari, Yuta, and Kashimo appear confused by Gojo's actions. Despite still being engaged in the fight, Gojo has stopped using the reverse curse technique to heal, adding another layer of mystery to his strategy. Yuta questions himself, but clarifies that Gojo can't run out of cursed energy. Ino exclaims Yuta's remarks as an assumption of casual usage. Yuta adds that Gojo was using the reverse cursed technique, which consumes twice the amount of cursed energy, right after using domain expansion. Furthermore, Sukuna is the one on the offensive. Despite the slashes hitting him and losing blood, Gojo jumps off from the ground to reach Sukuna. His body is covered in cuts, and everyone begins to question whether Gojo is going to lose. However, Gojo's speed remains surprisingly impressive. He manages to catch Sukuna by locking his legs and arms, showcasing his exceptional combat skills even in the face of adversity. The outcome of the battle remains uncertain, keeping the sorcerers and viewers on the edge of their seats. At this critical juncture, Gojo employs the reverse curse technique and forms a hand sign against Sukuna, leaving Yuta screaming in confusion. Initially deeming the situation impossible, Yuta considers that Gojo's inability to heal might be due to the burnt-out curse technique resulting from combining it with the reverse curse technique. Unexpectedly, Gojo unleashes a powerful red technique against Sukuna. The impact is severe, leaving Sukuna heavily injured and his malevolent shrine completely destroyed. The smirk on Gojo's face at this point signifies a dramatic shift in the battle. It becomes evident that this is not a conventional confrontation. It's a clash between the world's strongest man and the strongest sorcerer in history, where common sense may not prevail. The outcome remains uncertain, intensifying the suspense surrounding this epic battle.